All right, cool. I think this gets a little smoother every week. And thanks, Steven San Francisco, for actually doing the focus on talking about these cool gadgets. You know what I have right here, Joseph?
It looks like a case.
It is a case. And what is inside this case?
What's in the case? Yeah.
What was the big news last week? That's right.
God.
The iPad 3. I know you can tell immediately it's an iPad 3, not an iPad 1 or 2. I've actually got it in this cool Targus case that they sent over.
We fooled you guys. It is a 2.
Well, that's the big thing. How can you tell, the difference? And you've got a 2. I've got a 3. Katzmeyer and I spent about 40 minutes on Friday sitting on. I'll tell you the story very quickly. Sure. We said, how far do you have to hold it from your face to tell the difference with the higher resolution? And Katzmeyer said to me, well, how do you usually read your iPad? I said, well, in bed usually. So how far is that? So I sat down on his floor. I put my head up against the back of his wall and stretched my legs out and said, okay, let's pretend I'm in bed. And then he gets on the floor next to me. So the two of us are stretched out in this faux bed just on the floor of his office, leaning up against the back wall, holding iPads at various distances in front of our faces to try to stimulate that sort of reading the newspaper in bed experience. And that was our sort of iPad 2 versus iPad 3 resolution test. Now, I will say that now I'm sure, Ty, you've seen both screens now, correct?
Only from about this distance. Which is
And
like 2
what was
meters.
your immediate reaction to that?
Meh.
Okay.
I'm not that
No,
fussed
seriously.
about the change in resolution that much.
Does it bother you that it's a higher resolution than an HD TV?
No, it doesn't. Because most monitors now, if they're not 1080, they are a little bit higher. For the 27-inch and 30 inches, they are 21 by something.
Right.
So
okay. But
it's
that's like a
probably
computer
about-
monitor. Yeah.
Exactly. So the fact that it's quite high in resolution, it's good because I know that when I had the original iPad, you could sort of see pixels. Being a TV reviewer, I instantly notice pixel structure. So the fact that you can't really see it now is good. But I don't think that it's that leap, that catastrophic leap that they're saying that it is.
Like we were looking at a lot of photos and some video, and it was hard to tell, even with super high-res photos. I thought with text, it was a lot clearer, especially if you pinch in and zoom in if you're reading, let's say, a website online, like a news website, like CNET maybe, or like the New York Times, really, or an ebook or something else with text on it, or the notepad thing, actually. That made a big difference. But for regular stuff, I couldn't really see it. Joseph?
My only gripe is that they give you the Retina display is great. That's great, but here I go
Yes.
again.
No, please tell me.
What I wanted, what I wanted was a higher capacity. I have a 64 gigabyte, and I have to keep deleting things when I add other things. I have over 190 apps that are taking over 20 gigs of space.
But now that you can just
alone.
re-download them at will, why don't you just get rid of ones you're not using?
But that's the thing. I don't want
all cloud, man.
But
It's
that's the thing. Okay, there are people that want the cloud, and there are people like myself who don't want the cloud. The whole point of having a device like that is not being reliant on anything else. I can be somewhere where I don't have a signal. I can enjoy a program, or I could play a game. I don't want to have to depend on a hotspot or a Wi-Fi place. I want to know I can have it. And even now, I'm updating my apps, and they're larger.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm updating my apps on my second generation, and they're taking up more space for a higher resolution screen. So even that in itself should scream, we need a higher capacity device. So I'm a little disappointed that the Retina display is nice. Maybe they could have kept the camera off and gave you a higher capacity if they wanted to cut back. But I would have preferred 32, 64, 128. And I will say that until they do it. And everybody else could be happy with the iPhoto or the iLife or the iThis or iThat.
Right, but
I want space.
But what
I
were you
want
willing to pay?
iSpace.
But would you pay more for a 128? Would
Well,
you pay
I'm saying they could have shaved the camera and given me the higher capacity. I would have traded. I'd have used the same camera and taken a higher capacity instead.
Interesting.
Me personally.
Interesting. Now, I thought, I'm going to show you a picture now that Ty has of what I did was I went to the New York Times website, which I read a lot. In fact, I'm an actual paid subscriber to that. And I took a screenshot of the reader view of an article on the iPad 2, and then I did the same thing, same article, same paragraph on the iPad 3.
Oh, no.
There we go. Now, if you look at this big image there, depending on the quality of this stream, you may be able to see the difference. I know it's very obvious to us here in the studio. On the left is the iPad 2, and on the right side is the same text in the iPad 3. It's like night and day. I mean, there's really no debating that. right?
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
it
looking at
does. And to a blind person like me, that's great because I actually use my iPad without my glasses. But it gets very frustrating because they do this to you like every time. It's like
They give you a slightly better product for the same price every
well, the
time.
thing is, the Retina display is already old on the iPhone, so so it shouldn't be so impressive or such a new thing to the iPad because we've seen it like what 2 generations ago on the iPhone. It's on the iPhone 4.
That was a little tiny version.
Well, I'm just saying. So it's on the iPhone now. The iPad gets it. So basically, now what the iPhone 4, the iPad 4 is going to have Siri because we don't have Siri now. It's just very frustrating that they do this to you and they make you. They have people who really love their product just salivating to have everything in one place at one time. The surprising thing is the fact that they rush 4G into it because normally Apple doesn't make things mainstream until it's mainstream. So I think the 4G thing they were kind of forced into, and that's probably another thing that brought their cost up and that kind of shorted us on maybe getting the capacity because there are too many Android tablets out there screaming 4G, and when you're out there, for those who...
Your iPhone now says 4G on it, even though it's not really 4G. They changed the letter on it.
Hey, listen, there are people who thought the iPhone 4 was 4G, so it didn't even need the letter.
All excellent points. I just think the text, if you read a lot, it's really different. And a guy on the Silicon Alley Insider, Business Insider, that's like a technology business news website, they had a good little short piece this morning that I actually liked a lot, where a guy said he got the iPad 3, took it home over the weekend. Okay, looks fine, no big deal. Then on Monday, he went back after using the new one for like 3 days and looked at someone's iPad 2 and was like, I couldn't even read it. It was so blurry. It was just mind-blowing. And I did that this morning. I got out the iPad 2 and looked at it. I was like, whoa, you're right. How did I ever read this? What the hell was I thinking?
Well, it's like it goes back to like when you with televisions, like if you have a high definition television at home and there's a certain station that's wonky or that's not available in high def, you have to go back to standard def. You're like, oh my God, how did I ever watch standard def? But there were times back in the day where people were loving DVDs and 480p. Now you just get used to it. You get spoiled.
But it's
true.
the size of the screen too.
Correct.
I mean, you were used to watching what a 20-something inch.
Yeah, you never
in
went
the
more
corner.
you never went past 27. 32 was a luxury.
Hey, I remember the 19s, man. That was the standard.
Hey, listen, I'm dating myself. I had a black and white TV.
So
All right.
we all
Mine had
black
wood
and white
paneling
TV.
on it.
My friend to this day in his house, and this is old school. It doesn't work anymore, but it's the TV that's set in the wooden box.
Yeah.
And to the right is like the record player and the speakers and everything are built in it, and the doors close and you can open up for the TV. So he has like his new TV on top of that.
I've done that. I've been there temporarily.
But I mean, you know what? It's such an antique. You can't get rid of that. You can't. I would just assume gut it and maybe put like a flat screen in there. And it's around
Mod it, put a PC in there.
Mod it and put something in there.
Fish tank.
Fish tank.
All right, I just want to show you one more thing, one more new iPad thing. And this is actually not new for the iPad 3. You can actually play this on your iPad 2 or your phone, but I'm addicted to it now, and there apparently were like 4 million people playing this game simultaneously last night in the course of 1 hour. I think 20 million people have downloaded it in like 4 weeks, and that's Draw Something. If you haven't seen this, I'm going to hold it up real fast. It's like Words with Friends meets Pictionary.
I started my first game this morning.
Oh, good. We'll have to start playing now. So I have a choice of drawing for the person I'm playing with. A cook rest, which I guess is a concept, the concept of rest, or a suitcase, which is supposed to be hard. I think that's the easiest, really. So I'm going to click on suitcase.
I don't know how this game actually goes. I've only played the first round where you draw something, so that's what I've done.
Okay.
It should be called Guess Something, really. Draw and guess something.
Now, if you saw that, I guess it looks more like a briefcase than a suitcase. I should have done it differently.
Yeah,
maybe
well,
add some,
maybe a tag like
as long as it's not a thermometer, because we played a game of Pictionary with Ackerman. He drew a thermometer and it looked like a piece of the male anatomy.
It's a thermometer.
It did not look like a thermometer. Julie could attest. It did not look like a thermometer.
I need some
Could be a
wheels on
turkey
this,
baster.
maybe?
It could an upside down turkey baster, right?
Let's see. Maybe a little handle coming out of the top. Okay, now this doesn't look anything like a suitcase. I've completely failed.
It looks
of
like
course.
a lawnmower or something.
It looks like a trolley cart with like a coffee machine on it. All right.
Or one of those dry cleaning shampooing
I did not do a good job there. That's all I'm going to say.
But there's been an interesting couple of how-tos on the site in the last couple of weeks. Sharon Vaknin.
Oh, that's right. I have to go back and read those now that I'm playing the game.
But there's some sort of stylus you can make with a piece of foil and a pencil.
That's
they
not gonna
look
help me.
really low rent to me, but the thing is, you can actually get styluses fairly cheap. They're between 10 and 20 bucks, and they actually look quite good. So I wouldn't play with a pencil and a bit of foil myself. I wouldn't do that. But if you want to, apparently, if you want to draw something, the first thing you should do is get a good stylus.
Or get it for the Samsung Note, which comes with the stylus,
That's right.
That huge
I wonder if-
5.3-inch phone.
I think it's just an iOS game for now, but if you could play it on Android, the Samsung Note would be great to play that. on.
Presumably, it'll be coming to Android, right?
We can only hope.
It's
So-
a matter of time. That's all.
All right, so going from this 9.7-inch screen to a screen that is approximately 8 or 9 times larger, Ty, what exciting thing do you have that we wanted to look at that is simply too big to bring in here?
Okay, it's called the the LE632. It's an 80-inch screen by Sharp. So we've had this in. Well, we'll put it on the screen now. We've got Joey pointing at the
Yeah, Joseph, what do you
monitor there.
actually...
I'm waiting for him to put it up so I can
Here
get
we
the
go.
image up there.
So here we go. We put this on screen.
Booyah.
Essentially, this is an 80-inch. I tried lying, what would it be, diagonally across that thing, and so I couldn't actually. If you're 6'8", that's and laid across that screen, I wouldn't be the least surprised. So that is what that is. It's an 80-inch screen. It's basically what they're pitching it to is to people watch sport on. We had was it a Knicks game playing on Friday?
What we did is we have a hardcore. Well, we have a Georgetown alum in the office, and she's really sweet. Shout out to Liza. And I'm sorry about your Hoyas. She really wanted to see the game, and she was like fascinated with the size of the TV. So Ty and myself moved the TV in the general population, and we played the Georgetown game on that television. And they happened to win that game. Maybe we should have
Just because of the 80-inch.
Maybe we should have kept displaying the G-Town games on that 80-inch. Our fault, guys.
I saw that. You guys, now how did you actually get it out in the hallway? Because that's got to be...
It's 132 pounds.
132 pounds.
Yeah.
On like one of the rickety wheeled carts that we
put
have.
it on one of the rickety wheel
Oh,
carts,
that's dangerous.
and we pushed it right down the aisle real quick.
Oh.
And we did the quick jump. Yeah, it was funny.
It's a monster.
We're gonna probably do it we're probably gonna set up for the Final Four as well.
I see.
So
Now-
essentially, we've had this in the office for a couple of weeks. Not great if you're a movie buff.
Really? Now,
No.
why is that?
Essentially, it's an LCD. LCDs are really hard, the large sizes, to light correctly across the screen because you need a lot of lamps, and lamps cost money. So what it is, it's a budget 80-inch television.
A
if you get your
budget
head around
80-inch.
that. About 3 years ago, 4 years ago, Sony put out an 80-inch, which was the same amount in Australia, the same amount in dollars as it was in screen size. So it was $80,000.
Oh, nice.
Now,
So
was that
this is
80,000 Australian dollars?
Australian
which
dollars.
is what, about $400?
$4.32.
Yeah.
So essentially, this is a $5,500 80-inch. So this is the first time it's come in under 10 grand.
So how much is this guy?
So it's 5,500.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
5,500.
If you
That's
go
not
for the
bad.
70-inch, it's half the price. So it's about 2,500.
Oh, that's also quite reasonable.
Yeah. So it's not a great screen, but what it is for in a lit room. You're watching with a couple of buddies, and you're watching a game or something like that.
I'll tell you one thing. The nice thing with that was when we had it set up out there, people were walking in front of me, and I could still see the screen. That was the best.
I will say you
People were
did bring
dwarfed.
productivity in the office to a screeching halt, the two of you, on, I think it was Friday, right?
Yeah, it was Friday. But
And,
that was also, that was popcorn day.
Nobody
Yeah.
makes their numbers at the
That
end
was
of the month,
popcorn
man.
day. That's on
We're
the
going to
side.
blame that TV.
No, Hendler has his crew tight.
I see.
Hendler's got it held down over there well.
I'll tell you something else about this TV. Essentially, it's great for
Here, flip back
gaming
to it,
on.
Joe.
Oh, sure.
Great for gaming on. It's got this thing called a Viper mode, which is essentially a lossless lag type situation.
Will they turn off all the post-processing?
Yeah, so I had Wipeout playing on that screen. It was amazing.
Oh, nice.
It was great fun. The only problem with this television is it's not 3D, which you'd
I
expect
was
for a
going to say,
$5,500 television.
3D
Can
on
you
an 80
imagine modern warfare on that bad boy?
in 3D with the glasses
in
on.
3D surrounds. I think 3D on something that big would probably make you cockeyed.
Yeah.
I
Or just make
cannot-
you spew a little bit.
You got to
Yeah.
you got to sit a minimum distance back.
Our apologies to anyone who's listening to the podcast, but you can easily download this and look at it. Probably
and watch the video,
Or
or
you can
read
look
the
up the review.
upcoming
Yeah,
Yeah,
review.
which will be coming up today, Monday. That is.
yes,
Excellent,
today.
excellent. Well, I look forward to seeing that. Do you think we're going to see more 80-inch and larger TVs? Is that
This'll-
like
well, that's the thing. Once you get beyond 80-inch, there's a 106-inch out as a more of a, I guess, commercial model. and that's $100,000.
Whoa, hey now.
Yeah, so
But those are all still 1080. Nobody's going.
yeah,
4K
no one's
on
going
these.
for 4K yet.
Well, you know-
there is a 4K coming from LG later this year, and I believe that Toshiba is almost on the market if it's not right now.
While we're on the subject, I got a question that was posed to me by Andrew Henley. He was asking, because he's caught up right now. He's thinking about getting another DLP. He's looking at the Mitsubishi
DLP.
Because you know why?
I know, really.
Because they have a 92-inch.
Well,
Yeah.
we
So-
haven't looked at DLPs, and funnily enough, North America is the only market that still sells DLPs in the world. So there's still a market for cheap, huge TVs, and I think that's what Sharp's going after here. They're going after that market. Obviously, it's more than a DLP, but you'll actually get better image quality than you will out of a DLP. Because lighting conditions, off angle with DLP is terrible.
Yeah.
You've got to sit right in front of it. It's not great with this television, but it's better. So I can see DLP disappearing from the market in the next 12 months.
Well, yeah, my only
Oh,
reason
yeah.
for bringing it up because of the size of this TV, and
Yeah.
the only thing you can get larger than that would be a DLP. So that's-
Or
get like a
go
big
the whole hog
projector.
and get a projector, yeah.
yeah, but come on, those days are done. On the wall, nah, come on.
Projectors are going to be around long after DLPs are gone.
Well,
Yeah,
projectors
that's
are cool
a
because
whole-
you can just take it, you can make it as large as you want, you can
right.
move it around.
And there are people who build whole projector rooms and stuff.
So that's going to be the money option or the budget option if you want a really big screen is to get a decent 1080p projector. And you can get them for $1,000 or $2,000. They're not going to be to the equivalent of, say, a $5,500 LCD in as far as black levels, because you're still going to suffer from black levels, particularly in a lit room. But yeah, I mean, if you want big, projectors still the way
I
to
just
go.
always assume you need a dark, light, tight room for a
Yep.
projector to really work.
Absolutely.
But those
And-
are good for gaming. That's a lot of fun.
Oh,
I used to
yeah.
go to there used to be a lot of clubs in New York where for some reason everyone was into sort of one video DJing, which is just stupid. And but two, then when the video DJ was done, they'd put on this is showed how old it was. They put on like a PlayStation 1, or maybe it was a PlayStation 2, and people would be playing games on these giant walls in clubs.
I worked at the All-Star Cafe in '96.
I'm not sure that really counts as a club.
No, it was. Well, I worked in the AV department, and they had a 27-foot barcode.
Joey the AV guy.
They had a 27-foot barcode screen, and I actually hooked up Tekken from the first PlayStation in there, and it was great seeing martial law larger than life. But we mostly played on the 6-foot barcodes. I won so many free meals from the kitchen playing Tekken. I cannot even
Excellent, excellent.
We should reinstitute that with this new big TV.
Speaking of smaller screens getting bigger, I want to show you guys two things that are, I think if you see three of something, it's a trend. So I've got two right now. One more, and then it's trend time. And then I want to hear about the mysterious thing you've got on your wrist. But don't tell me yet.
I will not.
We've talked many times about the ultrabook, those super slim, super thin 13-inch laptops. They're kind of like a MacBook Air. Well, now they're starting to expand the ultrabook repertoire, if you will, and now we're seeing 14 and 15-inch models that all have the ultrabook tag, which is Intel, created the name, the concept, so you have to abide by their rules in order to call yourself an ultrabook. But we were starting to see 14 and 15-inch models. First, I'll show you a 14 that we've talked about before.
So, Rummagers through his
As
bag.
I lean back dramatically behind me. So this, of course, is that HP Spectre with the glass lid. Ooh, it's
I don't like
glass.
this thing. I don't
So
like it.
it's part iPod or iPad,
Here, I'm going to
part
pass it to Tom
laptop.
if he obviously wants to see it. Yeah, really is. When it's closed, it kind of has like a tablet-y sort of look to it.
I
See,
don't
I
like
like
it.
I like
thing
the
open.
keyboard layout and everything. I like that
it
little
feels
glass.
weird, like this.
Oh yeah, the
this
glass over the
I like
touchpad.
that.
bit there.
I like that. I actually like that because you rest your hands on it, the grease and oil from your hands can sit on that plastic, it wipes right off.
It's glass.
Well, glass, plastic, whatever, it wipes right off.
It wipes right off. What are you eating before you use a laptop,
Dude, you know how many times? All right, first of all, you know how many times you could be in the lab working, and this goes for anybody because I've seen it happen to you. In this office, it never fails. The minute you put food in front of you, someone needs something from you where you have to get online or look something up. I've walked in your office. I've seen it happen to you. I know it's happened to me. I've seen it happen to Julie. I don't know if it's happened to Ty, but I've seen it happen a lot.
I see. But what does that have to do with the fact that this
Because the fact that you're eating something and you automatically, you barely get a second to go, finish chewing, and you got your laptop up and you're looking something up right away.
I see.
And this is that's.
But our larger point here, Joe,
it's fried chicken proof. Is what
our
I'm trying
larger
to
point
say.
here, Joe,
Resistant.
is that this is a 14-inch ultrabook. But feel it, it's kind of big and heavy. It's not like
yeah,
you're not thinking MacBook Air when you pick that thing up.
The glassware definitely
glass is
makes
heavy.
The glass is definitely making it heavy. But you know what? That's the thing people want. They want something that feels solid. They want something that looks like it costs or
if
it
you
looked
got
like it's
glass
worth what it
there,
costs.
why
And
don't you put a secondary display under that glass?
you know, it'd be nice.
Wouldn't that be nice?
If they put that trackpad on this, like was on the what was that? The
The Razor?
Blade.
Mhm.
I like that trackpad.
That was cool. Oh yeah, that would be
A
cool.
little biased with it to the right because
Right.
it's towards right-handed people, but I don't.
Are you
mind.
left-handed?
I'm right-handed,
Okay, good.
but my son's mother's left-handed. That's why I'm only conscious of these things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so this
So
is
it's
a
it's
14-inch
big,
version
yes.
of the 13-inch.
I would take it.
You'll get it.
I'm sitting here flipping around with one hand right now.
It's sort of from here. It looks like a business laptop.
But the thing is, once you put, to hold in your hand like this, fine. But once you drop it in a book bag, it's not that bad. And the adapter for it, that's another thing people don't take into consideration. Yes, the laptop is a little weighty, but the adapter for it is very sleek and sexy. It's not like one of those big Xbox 360, power supply adapters that convert like freaking solar to.
I'd like to point
to
out,
AC.
Joseph, that
So-
this is the first time I've ever heard someone use the term book bag since like 1979.
Whoop 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 whoop.
What's it?
The knapsack.
At least he knows what a book bag
string.
is.
No. It's a knapsack, but when you're in school, you have your knapsack and you have your school books in it. So in school, you would call it a book bag when you're like in the 4th grade.
Ah, we used to have like a little string
Right.
one. Yeah, it had a string on it, and then you
this
hang
is-
it over the back of your chair.
This is the KFC HP edition.
Oh, stop
It's
it.
already greasy as.
I know, look at that. It's already got fingerprints on the three of us all over it. Now, I've got something even crazier to show you. As I
Could it
again
be?
lean myself dramatically, this is a 15-inch ultrabook, allegedly.
With the
So
matte
look how
finish.
thin that is. This one at least is matte. It's the Acer M3 Ultra.
You know, it doesn't look like an ultrabook now.
It does
this
not.
just looks like
it's
a
a
MacBook.
thin 15-inch.
It looks like a MacBook.
It does. It looks more like a Pro, yeah.
So I
It's
just,
a little thinner than a
it's
Pro.
just interesting that, Intel can come out 3 years later and say, we've invented this new form factor.
We've invented the MacBook Pro.
Exactly. Did they go back in a time machine? Professionally tuned Dolby Home Theater.
I think the biggest thing with these computers,
and it's perfectly nice.
Huge. Look at
I don't have
And
a
it's
problem
thin for what it is.
I don't have a problem with these designs and everything. I just think that if you're going to make something, and you're aware of who you model it after, like if you made something that resembles, let's say, like the Mac Pro or the Air, you got to automatically underprice it. You
Oh, of
can't
course.
go in more. You can't make something that looks like it and then charge more.
Well, that's why the
I
best
think-
ultrabooks,
and
the
I think that's-
13-inch ones, are $8.99, $9.99. When a 13-inch Air is like $12.99.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest problem with a lot of these is the fact that they come out with some really nice designs, but then they
It's
just
got Acer written on it. so.
Right, now, the
Acer
thing that
have
makes
always
this one-
been a budget brand as well.
Well, Acer, they go both ways. This one actually has a really high-end bit to it and a really ghetto bit to it. Now, the high-end bit is it's one of the first laptops, or it's the first ultrabook with discrete graphics. It's got this new NVIDIA, I think, GeForce 640 M GPU in it. So that's cool because we haven't seen an ultrabook with discrete graphics yet. On the other hand, the display is only 1366 by 768, and it looks very toy-like.
So you're not going to get a Retina type.
Right, like
effect
what
out
are you
of
gonna
that.
like? You have these great graphics on here, but you're gonna play games at 1366 by 768. That doesn't make any on a big 15.6-inch screen. That just doesn't make any sense to me. You got to go at least 16 by 9 in order to make it kind of worthwhile. That's my opinion.
well, at least another point for the
The bigger the screen. Remember, an 11-inch laptop is usually 1366 by 768. When you have a 15-inch with the same resolution, that just looks cheap.
Another point for the HP laptop is the fact that now that you have these homeless Wi-Fi spots, you're gonna be mingling and shaking hands. At least you know you can just wipe everything right off your laptop. Right?
That's
Now,
you can wipe the old English 800 right
That
off your
was,
laptop.
that was
Old
just
English
Texas, man. We don't have
800
those here.
well, we don't know. HP will sell to Texans.
Oh boy. So is that your new side job?
Hey, listen,
mobile hotspot.
Dude, I will
Hire yourself out?
I will gladly be a hotspot to not have to pay for it for myself.
Oh, I see. So you get the
Really?
benefit, and then you strap it
just,
to yourself.
just freaking they can monogram my Knicks hats with the web key on the back, so I don't have to even talk to anybody.
Well, yeah, you'd have to give people the password. All
Well,
right.
I'm saying they can put the password on my Knick hat, and that's it. They can do their thing.
So Joseph, since we're running out of time, I do want to hear about this mysterious device you have strapped
All right.
to you that you two seem very excited about, and I have no idea what
well,
you're
I
talking
don't
about.
know what it is either.
Ty thought I was pulling his leg. I've been following this. I've been wanting to pick it up. I finally got up on my butt and I picked it up because they're really hard to find. They're actually going for like 200 and change on eBay, and it is
Da-da-da-da-da.
the Nike Plus ID.
Whoa!
The Nike Plus Fitness, the Nike Plus Fuel Band.
What does that mean?
So what it does is it measures. It measures your steps and your movements in fuel. You could set goals for yourself and have it on the band or sync with your iOS device. And you could set like a goal of 2,000, 3,000, so forth, whatever. And if you reach, well, let me go to my goals. I'll show you because I'm not even to my goals. It gives you calories.
Now that's
Right,
how many
250
calories you've consumed today?
Steps. No, since I've gotten it or since I put it on.
250? Wait,
And
no,
then
no.
the
Where are the
time-
calories?
Hold on a second. I'll go back, go around. But I'm going to the fuel. So like my fuel is set to 2,000. I'm at 614 right now.
And what does fuel
In what?
measure?
How long?
Well, that's the thing. That's Nike's little gimmick of fuel.
What is it?
It's like it takes a combination, I guess, of your steps, your movements, and calories burns, and it transfers it to a thing called fuel, where you can upload your scores via your iOS device, or you can plug your band in at the end of the day and upload it to the web.
Is fuel like calories where you want less of them, or is it like
no,
amount you've worked out?
Well, no,
where
you can
want more?
actually go calories. It'll give you calories.
Right. So what's the 250 there? Was
That's
that
the
just your
calories I
rec-
burned since I put on.
Oh,
put it
That's
on.
how much is in a
Burn.
Coke,
Since
right?
I put it on.
I thought it
And
was
then-
going to measure the
and then
calories
these are the-
you
these-
consume, which is
and
a
these-
lot.
And these are the steps I've taken since I put it on.
Which is when?
Since like about noon.
Oh, nice. You've
And,
not taken 2,000 steps since noon.
Well, you
I'm
should have
following
seen.
you.
You should have seen the way I was booking to the Nike store and trying to get back here for the podcast.
I see.
I
You
just
went out
love
and
all
all
these
Okay.
attempts, these
And
marketing
then,
I like
attempts.
this. I like
and
this.
then Roger Chang's reviewing it.
Oh,
right
nice.
now.
Reviewing
It's-
it. Wow.
It slides off. It hooks up via USB. They recommend that you do not plug it directly in the back
Sure.
of the computer because
Feel like a
the
little
battery,
extension.
the lithium-ion batteries are right here, and you don't want to break the connection. So they give you a little band where you can just mount it like this. So you can either upload your data from here, or you can sync it via Bluetooth to your iPhone or iPod Touch after you download, of course, the Nike Plus Fuel Band app. It retails a little pricey. I was telling Roger I think the ideal price for it would be $100. It's $149.
Oh, that seems reasonable. I was going to say $199.
It's water resistant, not waterproof. I was told
Sure.
you could shower with it, but I wouldn't
You
recommend
can work
doing
out
it.
with it at
but
least.
Kevin Durant plays basketball, and I intend on playing ball with it tomorrow. So I'll let you know what my fuel points are for
Oh, yeah.
tomorrow because I'm definitely playing some ball. I had to take off my Live Strong bracelet to put this on, but it's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Does it come in other colors?
It just comes in black right now, but they do have different sizes. And what's really nice, they give you this little tool.
A little
You can-
sizer?
You can you can adjust the
All
band,
right.
and it also locks.
In case you got a case of the fat wrist.
So you lock, and well, that's the thing. I don't think this is an ideal device for a person who's already in shape because there's not much they have to prove to themselves. But it's a good motivational tool for a chunky person like myself who wants
All
to know
right.
what days I was lazy and what days I was not.
I like this. I'm going to tell you, I'm liking this.
I don't
All
like
right.
the fuel concept, though.
No, that's goofy, but I'm interested in the
Well, yeah.
steps and the calories that I've burned.
It sort of
allegedly.
reminds me of, remember the Swatch internet time that they
Yeah,
came with in the late 90s where everything was in 500, I think it was. And you then, I'll be at 472 internet time. Didn't take off.
Well, the
I
only-
think fuel's probably going to be
Well,
a
see,
similar
the only thing I'm curious about is also tomorrow. I'm going to find out because it may move with arm motions because I can't imagine it tracking anything other than arm movement. So
Right.
is it, how many steps is it giving me for doing this right now?
But
If you
pedometers
gesticulate
are-
as much
yeah.
as Joey does, you
That's
might burn more calories.
Listen,
Well, it's like
I'm not going to tell you again.
It's like a pedometer that snaps onto your belt. It's not really on your foot, but it knows. It knows.
And if you're
That's
a
all I'm
chronic
gonna say.
self-abuser, of course, you'll use a lot more.
I'm like, oh my God, 50,000.
Just if you're blowing out the microphones, you're so loud. All right, gentlemen, this has been a lot of fun. I feel like we've done more gadgetry hands and eyes on than we've ever done before. We looked at the new iPad. We looked at that big TV, although we couldn't fit it in here,
honestly
but
say,
that kind of counts.
I'll help you, Ty, if you
We
want.
looked at these ultrabooks.
We should
looked
wheel
at this
it.
thing.
We should wheel it in next week.
All right,
We should.
let's see. Maybe we'll shoot some video.
Because you really can't appreciate it until you see it up against somebody. 'cause
That is true. It's
massive.
quite large.
Yeah.
You should stand next to it and take some
Well-
photo or video of you posing.
Well, yeah, because everybody knows I'm like, all right, guys, I'm like 6'2", 225. I am a big boy. So if I stand next to it and I look kind of, I'm never gonna.
Well,
look
that's
small.
what.
I'm never gonna look
otherwise
small.
known as 5'11".
I'm 6 feet.
Lies.
Ackerman
Lies.
I'm 6 even. Ackerman has razors in his shoes. I've been 6 feet forever, ever. I am
ever.
a point guard. I'm the prototype point guard, of course.
All right, gentlemen. I'm going to fade it out right now, and I'm even going to attempt to do the impossible, which is to play some music while we do it. If I can just figure out one small. There we go. I know what to do to make this work.
Yeah, just play it on your iPad.
Oh yeah, I guess I could have done it. Well, I have to plug it into something. All right, no, I have 3 mice here, so I keep grabbing the wrong one.
There we go.
There we go. Isn't that nice?
And they still didn't fix this board. The tape
Sticky?
is still sticky. Yeah.
Huh.
Welcome to
I'll
CNET.
just rub it on the table.
We
Vicky,
just make do, man.
Vicky sticky, wiki sticky.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
John.
Thank
See
you.
you guys next week.